Hi, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Nonprofit Marketing Academy's office hours. We're in January 2025, and we thought we'd kick things off by not only providing this video to our members, but also YouTube at large, because the resource that we're going to share is accessible whether you're a member or through our Etsy shop. And I'm really excited to share this resource because our team puts a lot of work into curating these social media calendars that you can use every month to not only help you save time, but to give you ideas. And so I'm going to let Allison talk more about that when we get to that. But first, I'm going to introduce the team. My name is Jeanette. I'm the founder of the Nonprofit Marketing Academy. And I will pass it over to Savannah.
I'm Savannah. I'm the marketing technology manager of the Nonprofit Marketing Academy, and I assist with sourcing photos and I set up our collaborative calendar for our monthly holiday resource. And I'll pass it over to Allison.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allison. I'm the communications specialist for Nonprofit Marketing Academy. I'll be leading us through the content calendars that our team helped put together today. But I do a lot with social media management for the service side of our organization. And I'll pass this over to Jamie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie, and I am the marketing assistant at the Academy.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to hand it over to Allison, like she mentioned, to walk us through this. If anyone joins and has questions at the end during our monthly membership office hours, they're open so people can have any kind of marketing question they might need support with to get answers. So that is a benefit of becoming a member. But if we don't have any questions, we'll just cut it off. So Allison, I'll pass it over to you to share.
All right, thanks, Jeanette. So hello, everybody, once again. And since we're putting this up on YouTube, and we might be saying hello to some new people. So first, just wanted to say hi, but also we're recording this kind of right in the middle of the big fires happening in LA. So if you or someone that you love is affected by that, our hearts go out to you. We are all spread all over the country, our team, but we are originally Orange County based. So it's very close to our hearts. And we hope that you are all staying safe out there. But jumping into the resources that we have. So this first look that I am giving you is for our monthly members and annual members. So if you are not currently a member and you're finding this on YouTube, this is kind of a behind the scenes look at what our academy looks like for our members. But every month we offer a drop with a monthly calendar. And for our annual members, we also have an exclusive perk with an annual version of our calendar that's new this year, because before we used to give quarterly versions of this calendar, but as a way to try and adapt and make this a more effective tool for those who are taking advantage of our resources, we changed it in 2025 to be an annual option. But I'll show you kind of a little bit of the difference between the monthly version and the annual version. But before I really get into that, and I'll just open one of these versions, but I just want to talk a little bit about why we bothered to create this calendar and why we find it useful to have. So as a nonprofit marketing account manager for social media accounts, I find that I'm constantly looking at calendars to not only just ensure that I'm not missing any kind of important upcoming holiday, either like a cultural holiday or a purpose holiday that's related to the cause that we're working with. So for example, like whenever we were working with a organization that focused on homelessness, making sure to not miss big events like Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week or the National Day of the Longest Night is what it's called, but making that honors people who are experiencing homelessness and have died. It's very important not to miss those big dates, and having a calendar helps to ensure that you don't. But also just in terms of getting inspiration just generally, because you're creating so much content and sometimes you might get stuck, and having a calendar of not just cultural dates and purpose-driven days, but even just fun social media holidays can be a huge boon to have in order to find some of that inspiration. So when we were designing these calendars for our members, the goals that we had in mind were to not just share the major holidays, religious holidays, cultural holidays that might be relevant to you and your nonprofit, but also those fun social media holidays and those purpose-driven days that could be relevant too. This year's calendar, though, we tried to take it a step up by also trying to find ways to make it a more collaborative space for you and your team if you have a team. So we have a collaborative planning template that I'll talk about a little bit later, and then also some blank pages that weren't originally offered as well, where you can jot down your ideas. Because one of the pieces of feedback that we got previously looking at these calendars is that there's a lot of really great days on here and things to consider, but also not quite sure, like, well, what do I do with all of these dates? And the main idea is that you don't have to use all these dates. In fact, it would be crazy to try to. So to figure out like what you can use and then being able to take those and apply them somewhere else where maybe it's toned down just for you, and be able to look at these things that are just more relevant. But in addition to having all the dates on the calendar, we also provided a tip for each month, and that can be something seasonal or even just, and that could be for social media, but it could also just be for planning at large. So what is coming up that maybe would be good to consider for the month of January? It tends to be a slower period for a lot of nonprofits as you just finish all your end of year giving and a lot of those end of year campaigns. And so this could be a great opportunity to really plan out the whole rest of the year. And that's why I think that the annual version of the calendar is particularly useful, because you can really get a good look overall at the entire year and not just the single month. To think about, like, what could we possibly do this year? How much time do we need to set up a campaign if we want to create a whole campaign around it? Or do we just want to just highlight some of these days to make sure that we have them on our radar to recognize in some kind of either fun way or just general way, whether it's a blog post, a social media post, an email, what have you. But in addition to those tools, we also try to provide not just like the tools to help you plan ahead, but also the execution of creating some of these posts too. So we have put together a number of other resources that are available to both our members and then also now on our Etsy shop, which include on here, you can access the customizable captions. I'll click on this so you can see. And this takes you for the month of January. Each month has a different set of captions, but some of the more popular holidays that might be happening are ones that we think are potentially applicable to many different nonprofits and not just a select few that are focused on particular causes. And we have captions that you could just copy paste and use as is, or you can customize them as much as you want. And then also these more like specifically customizable things where you can fill in a blank and make them applicable and specific to you and your nonprofit. At the bottom of this document too, because ChatGPT and AI have become a very commonly used tool for not just nonprofits, but just kind of across the board for a lot of different organizations. We've created some prompts that you can use in ChatGPT where you can just fill in the blank and then get an output for a caption that you could potentially use. One piece of advice I would have for these though is that ChatGPT tends to give kind of generic captions that you see kind of like the same phrasing and wording again and again. So while it might give you something that you really like, I would still try and change it up a little bit and make it your own if you can. So just something to consider. And but yeah, so for every single month, we have a caption document like this, as well as some inspired audio recommendations. So because audio is something that changes all the time, there's always trending audio, the ones that we have here on these documents tend to be more evergreen, but would help kind of set the vibe that we think would be appropriate for that particular holiday. Jamie from our team helped to compile a lot of these. I think you got them from both Instagram and TikTok. Is that correct? Yeah, so there's...
And YouTube, I believe.
Okay, awesome. So a couple different places that you can source audio from in order to add to your reels, or even some static posts now you can add audio to. So if it feels appropriate, you can grab from here. But we also added a couple other audio resources that we find really helpful. There's this YouTube audio library you can pull from, as well as Hey Orca is a scheduling tool that our team uses and really loves. And they have a blog that's ongoing that constantly shares trending reels and TikTok audio. that you can pull from as well. So those are the more like up-to-date ones where they're constantly adding new trending audio to, which is worth checking out. And the last one that we have on our the version for our members is stock photos. So if you click on this is only available to people who are members of our Marketing Academy. But Savannah from our team did a really amazing job compiling photos, stock images that can match different holidays or kind of themes for that particular period. The one thing that's important about these is that I think they're only free, and Savannah, if you want to specify this a little bit more, but I think they're only free and legal to use if you have a Canva account. Is that what you had said, Savannah?
Yeah, so we source from Unsplash and Canva. Unsplash, you're totally free to use as is. But the Canva photos, you'll want to make sure that you do have a paid account with Canva to be able to use those in your designs and use those in the templates that will be available in the Academy. And if you have a Canva for Nonprofits membership, you should be able to get access to that premium level for free.
And I think that for if you're not quite sure about how to get a free account as a nonprofit marketer, if you have a 503c nonprofit, we do have training in our membership on how to get that. And I think we may have a blog post on that as well if you're not a member, but you can get a free account on Canva if you're part of a nonprofit, which is a really great resource. Then you can access those images there too. But yeah, so you can add those to any template. And as members of our Academy, there's also other templates and worksheets that I'll just kind of click on here that are not linked in this calendar document, but we have lots of templates that you can use and apply those stock photos to that your nonprofit can use. If you're not a member of our Academy though, but those templates you think would be useful to you, on the Etsy version of this calendar, where is it? At the very bottom, we do have links to, this is the annual version, not the Etsy version, but there are links on the Etsy version where you can purchase templates just kind of a la carte as well. But just kind of a side note. But either way, as you're working with this though, what I would recommend is when you look at this, not to feel overwhelmed by it, because it can feel like potentially a lot of information, like a lot of different holidays, month-long observances, and then holidays throughout the entire month and the entire year. But think of it instead as kind of a starting point. So whether you are looking at let me scroll up on the annual version. So whether you're just deciding, okay, like I feel like our nonprofit could use War on Poverty Day and then National Law Enforcement Day or something, and then you just want to highlight those few, like print it out and like literally highlight, you could do that. Or on the blank pages, you can write those in and just kind of pick and choose the ones that you feel like would work for you. So that way those ones are just highlighted and then you don't have all the other holidays kind of taking up space. Or on the collaborative document that we put together that's linked at the top of the calendar, this could be a great space for you to do that exact same thing digitally. And that could be just for you, or what's really great about this document is as a Google Sheet, you can use this collaboratively with your team. So if you have a team of people working on your social media, or even just generally, if like it helps to have kind of a general view for several team members to look at a calendar and things that you're recognizing, you can work together in this document to add things into the calendar or make notes off to the side about what you want to recognize, any things that you want to make sure that you are highlighting that month. So maybe you're not looking at just a holiday on one day, but you're looking at in February when tax season begins, you want to start talking about tax season. And you could talk about that over here and make notes of that, or anything else that you want to make sure is highlighted. You could also use this in whatever way you want to, whether that's, assigning tasks or delegating tasks. You can tag people to complete certain things whenever you're using Google Sheets and Google Docs. So just things to take into consideration. But I know for me, myself, I really like working with a pen and paper sometimes. So that's why we wanted to give the offer of the blank pages as well. So if you want to print it out and be able to write things down, you can use whatever tools work best for you. But yeah, so this is available ultimately to our, the monthly one is available to our monthly members. The annual version we have available to our annual members. But we do have all these available, these resources, the annual one at least, and some of those social media templates available to people just generally. If you're not interested in becoming a member just yet, you can get these items a la carte through our Etsy shop. And I guess I can pull that up really quick just so you can take a look at what is available there. You can see the social media calendar here, and then lots of different bundles for different social media tools and templates of both email. So if some of these ideas spark ideas for email campaigns or social media templates, all those things are available here. But I think that's kind of the general overview. Was there anything else that anyone else wants to highlight or note about these calendars on our team? Okay. I think that's everything I had to share. If you have any questions about this, I don't think we have anyone joining us live right now, but we would love for you to ask either in the comments of this YouTube video or in the comments of where this is posted in our membership. We're always looking for ways to improve these offerings as well. So if you do use this, any of these resources, and you have feedback for us, definitely let us know. And we try to take that advice or feedback and apply it the next time around. So yeah, Jeanette, I'll toss it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Allison. Allison hit all the major points, and Savannah gave some additional insights into the images. So thank you guys for doing that. And our original intention with the Academy Etsy is, as a marketing agency that works with nonprofits, we put a lot of time into curating things, and we understand like how much effort it is. So our goal with the membership and Etsy is to really give you an agency created plan, ideas, inspiration that you can execute as a DIY resource, and hopefully, give you back some time, save some energy. So if this sounds interesting to you at all, feel free to check out those products. We'll link everything in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you are a member and have any questions on where to find things, feel free to leave a comment and we will get back to you. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in our February call.